My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs. It is a Games Club podcast.
And this week we're talking about Crow Country, which is a survival horror game developed and published by SFB Games for PC and consoles in 2024.
Crows.
Yeah.
This is our premium episode for this month, which means everybody's going to get these generalities. Patrons at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv are going to get the whole play-by-play. And this is a Cole pick. And then one of your better picks, Cole. You're finally doing it.
That implies that my picks are usually bad. I don't know how I feel about that.
No, I wasn't joking. This game's great.
I love this
Thank you for bringing this to my attention.
Yeah. It's horror month. I tend to bring stuff. When I bring it, stuff that I've streamed. It's vetted. And this is one of the best things I have streamed this year. We kind of have a little bit of a repeat of what happened last year with Amnesia the Bunker. A little bit. Yeah.
Just a real standout. This is part of a subset of games we've covered and I've seen that I would love to see more of, which is this idea of taking the fundamentals of a genre and boiling it down to its absolutely essential elements.
Mm-hmm.
And basically giving it to you in a pill form.
Yeah.
This is going to make, I think this episode, how much I'm going to praise this game for being short is going to make some people roll their eyes because it always does. It's not just that it's short. It's the beauty of something with no wasted space.
Yes.
And I like wasted space. I like grace notes. I like touches and stuff like that. That can be really good. Mm-hmm. If you can't appreciate the elegance of an empty room, I don't know, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Something that is just a absolutely pure just dose.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something that is a love letter to old survival horror games with a lot of new features and stuff, things that not just shaving off edges and quality of life, but also interesting twist on it.
Mm-hmm.
But you just want to explore a Spencer Mansion-esque thing and get a dose of that. This is perfect.
Yes.
In addition to having good writing and a cool story and good scares and all, fun puzzles, everything else that you want is good as well. It's also just a dose.
Yeah, it is a real exemplar of what makes PlayStation era survival horror really, really appealing. If somebody was looking to get into the genre, this is probably what I would say. Just hand it over to them, both hands and say, here is a puzzle box space where movement is a limited or, not a free resource, and it is recontextualized as you expand it and solve puzzles. This is just that, purely expressed with nothing wasted.
With a narrative that also works the same way.
Yep.
Where you are finding information that recontextualizes information that you've gotten with, kind of sell the above average writing and dialogue. This game is amusing.
Yep.
I don't like using that word that often because I like to upgrade to funny if I can. It's not super funny, but it's amusing.
Yeah.
It's amusing. It's also creepy at the right points. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's a really high quality package. This game, very impressed.
I love it
by this. Yeah. The closest thing we've done in our catalog to this that reminds me of is Bowser's Fury.
Yeah.
Because, that is a absolutely no wasted space 3-hour version of a 3-hour, a 3D Mario.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. And I am, I kind of want to go back in my head and think about what else is an example of this phenomenon, right? Like, I don't know, because it's not just that it's short.
Infernax?
Infernax I think is a really good one.
Yeah, Infernax is also a dose.
Yeah.
Like it's taking a genre and just giving you like, hey, let's not fuck around. Like, let's just get into it, and also raise the sliders on the quality levels. Let's turn up the graphics.
Yeah.
Let's turn up the gameplay a little bit. Let's do some at least full hair raisers on this.
Yeah. Like in a way, Frostpunk is kind of a version of that for like city builders, insofar as it has a defined like campaign that it wants you to see, as opposed to just sprawling out, just being a system for a system. Yeah. I don't know.
A little bit. Like it's got that survival kind of thing and roguelike kind of nature where you're going to fail a bunch, which feels a little bit different, but a little bit like this is a cool space for designers to play in, I think.
Yeah. So in this, you play as Special Agent Mara Forrest. Very clearly not that. But she is investigating an abandoned amusement park in Georgia named Crow Country, and she is looking for its owner, Edward Crow, who has gone missing.
Yes. And as we mentioned before, this is a throwback specifically to PlayStation era survival horror games, with some important differences of that. This has been kind of a bit in indie horror spaces for a while. People are feeling nostalgic for this. I haven't played a bunch of these. You played a lot more. I hope that they're all like this. I bet you they're not.
Oh no, yeah, they're absolutely not. Like this is the best of the form. Whereas I would say like Tormented Souls is the best of like the PS2 throwback right now. But we're getting more PS2 throwback stuff. Like the time is marching on in the throwback space.
Yes, the nostalgia cycle is so you control Mara from a third-person perspective. You have a free rotating camera. That is a big difference as opposed to a fixed camera, like old Resident Evils. And in rooms, you see from this diagonal kind of top-down perspective. It defaults to tank controls, but if you use the analog stick, it's not tank controls. So you can choose how old school you'd like it to be.
Yeah, it's a similar system. Silent Hill 2 and beyond add something like that.
Yeah.
And you're in a theme park, which is one of the best spaces you can be in a video game. You have these 3 themed areas, and you're going to be kind of exploring the attractions, exploring the staff areas, the utility tunnels and stuff, finding items that'll help you solve puzzles, across more of the park, open up the space, and expose more of the story.
Yes. And you have this is a well-worn setting. For survival horror and for horror in general. This is the game that I think pays the most attention to this as a space, as a realistic space. It's taking the Spencer Mansion approach to the amusement park from Silent Hill 3 or something.
Yeah.
The Spencer Mansion, the reason why that always has a place in my heart is because it makes sense.
Yeah.
As a house, and I harp on that all the time.
Yeah.
It matters. It matters. Here, being able to go like, oh, I bet you these 2 spaces connect because this utility would serve both of them. And that will serve you in this. Like you can make intuitions in real life and kind of treat yourself like you're in the space. It does wonders for immersion and then also just kind of shorthand.
Yes. Yeah. And the puzzles here are good. We've had some discussion about puzzles, especially in an adventure game heavy month this year, talking about horror games. I feel like this hits just the right level of complexity.
Yeah. There's one puzzle that I'll fall on. We'll get to it. I think is not a good puzzle. Generally, though, the puzzles are really good, and I love how they're pitched.
Yes.
Nothing is that much of a head scratcher. But they also don't outstay their welcome. You get that hit of like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I figured that out, and then you move on.
Yeah. Just the right distance of intuitive leap on many of them. Yeah.
Yep. You're spending the entire time in this one location, in this amusement park, and you're constantly revisiting spaces. But because that location is small, the backtracking doesn't feel odious at all. And they introduce tons of clever shortcuts, almost in like a Dark Souls-esque way.
Yeah.
Both in terms of, locked doors, like one-way passages that turn into 2-way passages, and then kind of a substructure that connects everything together.
Yeah.
A lot of times I would feel like, oh shit, I got to go all the way to the other end of the park, and then would be shocked at how quickly that happens.
It's like 3 screen transitions.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's really small, while still feeling like a full space.
Yeah. For these puzzles, there is a hint system that I like. There are some fortune telling machines around, and you have 10 tokens that you can spend to tell you what you should be paying attention to next. And there's not so many steps involved in anything that 10 is a really low number.
No, they're basically like 10 objects you have to get.
Yes.
It's almost like there are 10 puzzles in it. Like there are more than that because each one has little sub puzzles to get to it, but you're following a chain of keys, in an escape room. There's combat in this. This is really good. This allows you to add stakes to things. It adds rewards, all the things that combat does. Gives you an economy, gives you a reason to find secrets, gives you a reason to pick up ammo, stuff like that.
Yes.
Like all survival horror, resources are a thing. You're not necessarily going to want to kill everything, but you do want to kill some things because otherwise they will pile up.
Yes. Enemies will kind of respawn. Newer, tougher enemies will be added into places that you have been. You just kind of want to thin it out so it is not completely unnavigable because we talk about this a lot, but like movement cannot be a free action. And
look at them. What's the point of it? Like if you're not making a choice with it, you're just walking.
Yeah.
I can do that in real life.
So it's either use ammo now or use a lot of health later, right?
Yeah. And you get, this interfaces really well with the bestiary where you get a sense of who's worth taking out.
Yes.
There are enemies that I learned how to successfully juke and just basically never fought.
Yeah.
Like this guy is just not a threat. He's going to take up a lot of ammo. I'm not going to fight him. The game is actually pretty generous.
Yes.
With ammo and everything. But it's, you can still make that decision. The decision's still there. It's also worth noting if this sounds bad to you, you can turn it off.
Yes.
This game can be a puzzle adventure game where you're trying to figure out what happened to a place after a disaster.
Yeah.
It's really cool that it contains both. At first I was like, oh, this wouldn't make any sense. You wouldn't see the monsters and stuff. And then I looked it up and they're just corpses.
Yeah.
So like, you're just trying to figure out what happened to these people, how they get sick. That's really cool that this contains like 2 different versions. So if you don't like survival horror combat, opt out.
Yeah.
You're still going to get tons of value out of this.
Weirdly, for a game of this, aping this vintage and of this level of fidelity, the aiming system is a little bit Resident Evil 4-y. You have free aiming mode. You have to, stop. There is no moving and shooting, and you get direct control of the targeting reticle. It's just from a looser perspective. And they have this neat press your luck mechanic with distance. So it's not just, okay, things that are closer will be easier to hit. It is that as things get closer, you do more damage. And doing more damage in a game that is resource constrained means you use fewer bullets and will have more for enemies later.
It's interesting the way this interfaced with, so I ended up playing this on Steam Deck. And so I was using analog sticks. I wasn't using the mouse. I assume this can play with a mouse. I didn't end up, the way that I ended up fighting basically every enemy was just to pound them with ammo. I didn't end up taking advantage of or noticing this that much. With I just kind of shot until things died. It's cool that I could take off limbs and everything. I would say this is probably a little bit underbaked. Like it's not like an enemy has a limb and if you shoot it off, you take away a key functionality.
Yeah.
Most of the enemies just kind of lurch towards you in this. Like there's not, it's not Dead Space.
Yes.
In that respect. But the idea that you don't want to try to snipe them from far away. The other thing is you can't snipe them from that far away because of how the camera works.
Yes.
It being always in the sky means if you're in a hallway, you can't like look down the hallway and shoot somebody at the end of the hallway. You just won't be able to see them.
There are things in your environment that are going to help you out, exploding barrels. There are electrical panels, just kind of do an AoE kind of thing. But there are also things that'll get you. This game loves throwing traps at you.
Yes. There are bear traps everywhere, poison gas mine, these poison gas sprayers, these spike ceilings, these chandeliers of spikes, fake items, again, mild foul. These are color based. Knowing which ones are fake, I can't always tell the difference between these.
The text prompt is also different. The real items will say this is a first aid kit. The fake ones will say I think this is a first aid kit.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I got hit by a couple of these.
Yeah.
I also, who's making these?
I
don't know why this is happening in the game.
It's very gamey. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little silly in the real worldness of it.
Yes.
But generally, you eventually don't pick up everything.
Yeah.
Resources in this are handled in kind of a Resident Evil 4 way. You'll find pickups in the world. You're always going to be running low on something because you have limited space, but you will pick up things. It's not like exactly like Resident Evil 4 where it is giving you what you need at the time, but there's at least a little bit of an element to that, in that how you check trash cans and vending machines.
Yeah.
And they either have a chance of having nothing or having a pickup. You will get a pickup you need if you need one.
Yes.
Yeah. I believe this is a weighted scale kind of thing. The amount of times almost like, again, a little bit gamey, where I used up an antidote and then check the garbage and there just happens to be an antidote there.
Yeah.
It happened all the time. You don't get items from enemies. You just get them from rummaging.
Yes. And, saving these. So vending machines will always have a chance to spit something out for you. Trash, you kind of want to save those. So, don't loot the trash every time you see it, because they will respawn on reloads a little bit. So
they refresh on something.
Yes.
I couldn't. You can get the prompt that I've already checked this, but I also at some point they refresh.
Yeah. So it's don't check that if you are kind of full up and don't need anything. You can save that for a little pick me up later. Yeah.
But you're never going to get absolutely fucked because at some point they will refresh, and if you run out of ammo, you can go get pistol ammo from your trunk. And kind of refill. This makes sense. You don't start with a melee weapon. You have to beat the game once to get a melee weapon. So your pistol is your only form of defense. And, it having that 3D Resident Evil thing, it's also used in puzzles.
Yes.
That's a big difference between this and a Resident Evil 1 or PS1 style survival horror game. You have to use it to hit buttons and shit. Yeah, with one simple, a gun is a tool. Open your beer with a gun. Turn off lights with a gun.
It's also used to open up their crates and bottles that will have items, and it's always the you can see inside the bottles and see if it's something you want, but it's is the one bullet worth it for this? Usually it is. Sometimes there's nothing in there.
Yep. Yeah. Oftentimes, with crates end up kind of functioning a little bit like garbage cans and vending machines. Bottles are a guaranteed pickup.
Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about the aesthetics. This is a very unique game in the way that it looks. So it's pixelated. Go ahead.
One other mechanic thing I just want to mention for people. I want to onboard people onto this game. Pretty bad because I think it's a really low investment, and I think it demonstrates a lot of what people would like about this genre if you don't like it. We talked about the difficulty modes where you can turn it into an adventure game. If you want to split the difference, you can also get extra lives. There's an option to just have yourself have an array of backup guys. That oftentimes shows up inside the bottles. There. And just know that you can do that. If you're put off by the idea of this kind of resource management stress based combat and exploration combo. Or just, I die and I have to go back to the last time I saved. If that's not compelling for you. I ended up turning this on partway through, not because I can't handle, managing my save rooms and stuff. I just didn't want to. I'd gotten that, that part of the vitamin, that part of the gummy that does this experience. I get it. And the game wants you to be able to just say nah. It's the same thing with the hint system. Same thing with just turning off monsters. If you get it, you can turn it off.
It's a game that really wants you to see it.
Yep.
Which is
very
good.
much so. Yeah.
Aesthetics. Yeah. This doesn't quite look like any other indie survival horror games that are out there right now. It's got this pixelated 3D look, but it's pretty colorful. You're in you're in an amusement park. It is a designed space. And the character designs are kind of chunky a little bit.
They look like Final Fantasy VII.
Yes, and that is a specific inspiration that they cite. Yeah.
The environments, this is not the thing about a PS1 era survival game is that the environments are often, or at least in the Resident Evil mode, are pre-rendered. Also in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Here they're not. They're 3D. So one of the things is you get this very detailed environment. Learning to look around took a while. Realizing oh no, I'm in control of the camera. I need to check out the corners of every one of these spaces.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of detail there in kind of this simplified, but still pretty detailed, non-derogatory clutter.
Yes. And the overall effect, with the camera angle and kind of the chunkiness is you're kind of looking at a fun little plastic horror diorama, Yeah. I love it. Yeah, and just the roundness of everything. I was looking at this this isn't Resident Evil. This is Ecstatica. This is voxel based stuff.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like that. Yeah. The monsters are good. There's a nice bestiary to this. These are fucked up people, generally, in increasingly fucked up ways.
Yes.
You can tell that they were once human, but we're not dealing with zombies here. They're growing and stretching in odd kind of ways, just long bones or just lots of fat or just moving sentient puddles.
Yeah. Those poor puddles.
Yeah. Yeah. Really gross.
The soundtrack in this rules. It is fully appropriate, and it rides this fun line between melodic and atmospheric, right? It has kind of a lo-fi synth kind of sound. And there's just enough hiss and distortion to make it feel like you're playing it on a busted CRT.
Yeah. The story, I think, in this game is more clever than initially lets on. The story itself is actually pretty simple, but there are a lot of interesting red herrings and ways that this very cleverly plays with its expectations for people who know the genre.
Yes.
There are little things that lead you to believe your problem is one thing when your problem is another.
Yes.
And we'll call those out. We don't want to spoil those now. We'll call those out in the body of the episode, but they're clever. This playing with my expectations consistently impressed me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I understand this. I played video games before. And then it turns out to be something different.
Yeah. It's a neat mystery. They really know how to drag you along.
In addition to it being, again, the writing being above average, it is kind of funny. It's, it's amusing. It's light. It's scary when it needs to be, but it also has little bits of humor. That are not cloying. When I say they're amusing, don't mean that damning. It's not it's trying to be funny and it's not funny the way that is death.
Yeah.
It's funny enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sufficiently funny. Which also sounds, how do you say that without it being faint?
I don't know. I non-derogatory. You just throw in non-derogatory and it's that's the cheat code.
We just all have to speak like Elcor.
It's the only way to make it work.
Crow Country's a good game.
Yes. It's the only way to do it. I think that within the context of watch out for fireballs, it's important to do that because so many things are not funny, damning, and trying to be funny. It's weird doing something that is trying to make jokes, and I'm saying that I'm not laughing in the wake of the 1,000-Year Door and Fable 2.
Yeah.
Where it's it's not like that. It's oh, huh. But it moves on. Part of it is literally just a function of brevity. It doesn't belabor these points. When it makes a joke that isn't an absolute knee slapper, we then just move on, and that joke is a sentence.
Yeah,
it's not a British guy doing a paragraph of patter.
Yeah.
It's all part of the pacing. The pacing and length of this are key and interface with every other aspect of it. And again, I think some people get frustrated when we talk about that. They're, you just short games. This is just because of your job. There's no perfect length for a game. You can't actually sink your teeth into it. And I'm telling you, this is the counterexample to all of that.
Yes.
It's pacing. We're not talking about length. It's pacing. Crow Country is the exhibit A. For this.
Also, I've done the math on the games that we play, and actually, we do not come out ahead on the weekly average time.
No.
Just the underlining what you said, pacing here is perfect in a way that makes me want to give this to people, makes me want to share it. Yeah,
absolutely, just very tight.
Yeah.
So there's been some interviews with the developers of this, in Source Gaming, Gamer Social Club, and Patch Magazine.
Yeah, those are the ones that I pulled from this. Yeah.
This company, SFB Games, London-based developer, they were founded in 2002 by Tom and Adam Vian. They're also known as the Super Flash Bros for their animation work on Newgrounds.
Yeah.
So quaint.
Yeah. Just for from and of an era. Yeah.
I want to ask them if they know Radiskull. What is he like?
Yeah. Do you all have like a group chat where you keep in touch with each other?
Yeah.
Yeah. Their first non-animation project that I could find was in 2007 when they put out a Flash point-and-click adventure game called Detective Grimoire. This became a series. There's a non-Flash sequel in 2014 and another one called Twisted Tower in 2019. There's a new one coming out. It's kind of their main deal.
Yeah. They do have something in the horror genre. Haunt the House, Terror Town. But this is a different kind of throwback. This is 2013, and this is a callback to Haunting starring Poltergeist.
Everybody's favorite, Poltergeist.
Yeah,
introducing
Poltergeist. Yeah. The grabbing by the ghoulies.
Yeah.
That era.
Yes. Yeah. You've got to, you're going around haunting things in a house trying to spook people. You also might know these folks. I was really surprised to see this. They've worked with Nintendo to make a second party game. They made Snipper Clips.
Yeah. I've never played any of their games before this. Mm-hmm. I've heard of Snipper Clips. I've heard of Detective Grimoire actually, but I'd never played Snipper Clips or any of these things.
Yeah. The team on this is really small. Adam Vian is the creative director. Tom Vian is the technical director, and they have a composer, music artist named Akaroid. And they started working on this in 2020. A lot of this is just the result of Adam just doing a bunch of trial and error in getting the systems together.
Yeah. Inspiration for this, very obvious, as we mentioned, Resident Evil 1 through 3 for kind of the basic game kind of part of it. The puzzle box spaces, Silent Hill for the atmosphere, and Final Fantasy 7 for character design. Mm-hmm. There is a little bit of Silent Hill to this. Mm-hmm. There's not as much as I would think.
Yes.
For this. It is not dealing in psychological spaces the same way.
Right.
And you do get a sense everything that is happening and this is actually happening. Mm-hmm. So not trying to tell them you weren't inspired by that.
Yeah.
They get to choose what they're inspired by. Mm-hmm. I'm setting an expectation for people playing. That's not what this is. If you're looking for something that is heady and psychosexual and about the interior mind of our protagonist and what's real and what isn't, Jacob's Ladder stuff, this is not that at all.
No. The Silent Hill stuff that's in this is just kind of related to the dilapidation that you see, and the monster designs very specifically feel pretty Silent Hill-y to me without the symbolism attached to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not just fighting vulvas in this.
Yeah. This is their first action game that they made. And they still, when they talk about it, say our main emphasis was on the puzzles because, as we found out this month and just over our time talking about the genre, survival horror owes a lot to point and click adventure games. That's where you get the, the puzzle chain, the item chain puzzles, stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah. And such, they don't see this as that different.
Yeah.
From that, they've added combat to it, but this is more or less an adventure game to them. Adam, talked about how, why he chose to set this in an amusement park. And very relatable. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to explore behind the scenes of a theme park, but I've never gotten the chance. There's something magical about those forbidden spaces that the guests aren't supposed to see.
Rock on, man!
Very much so. See the redeeming factor to the DLC for the Surge, for example, or Nuka World.
Yes.
That's the cool. I'm not a big fan of either of those DLCs. I mean, they're fine, they're good, but I'm not head over heels for them. But one of the things I like is this.
Yeah.
Going back behind things. And again, contrast also with Silent Hill 3. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to bash Silent Hill 3. It's just I want Silent Hill 3's amusement park to be a bigger part of it.
Yeah.
As opposed to just a handful of screens that are kind of amusement park themed.
Yeah.
Actually exploring is different than just kind of having a set dressing.
Yeah. It's just, it is really neat to see the, to walk back and forth between the designed space, for made for actual people as an amusement, and then see the utilitarian side behind it. That is always super interesting to me. Kind of similar, to praise Silent Hill 3, going between the stores and the hall and the mall, and then the back hallways and tunnels and stuff, right?
Yeah. Even that though, you're not getting the whole mall. You know, you're getting like six screens of
the
like
mall
a
is
section
huge
of the mall.
in Silent Hill 3.
I was misremembering the mall, perhaps.
Yeah.
But like the idea of like, we're just going to model the whole thing and let you move around it makes it, you know, it's like ImSim teardown kind of philosophy to it, as opposed to a level, I guess.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. This is really successful. Got great reviews, has a lot of positive buzz. You know, it's just a really good game. One of the best that came out this year. And they say not to expect a Crow Country 2. They want to make more survival horror games. They just have different ideas.
Yeah, this story's done.
Yep. I don't need
Crow
to say
Country 2, there's
again.
no point. Yeah, there's no point. You know, and that's also very refreshing in terms of just kind of a bite. Yeah. Like, give me another idea. Like, I've had this idea.
Please.
You know,
I want to see more.
This tapas genre.
Yeah. This just got released on more systems, by the way, like a couple of weeks ago. I think it's hitting Xbox around the time this episode comes out. So like, it's never been more available. And as we end the like free portion of the show, want to underline, like, run, don't walk, right? Yeah,
it's very good. If you want to play this kind of thing portably as well, it plays great on Steam Deck. Which is how I played it. Aiming is a little bit trickier, but not in a way that feels contrary to survival horror.
Yeah.
You know, and in addition to that, the game is actually pretty easy. You know, playing this on the medium difficulty mode, it's not hard.
Yes.
If that puts you off, it's like, oh, you know, whenever I play an old school Resident Evil, I just die and it feels like, what's the point? I died a few times in this game, but it's not hard.
Yeah. Like, the intended way to play this is with a controller too. So like on portable, you're not getting that compromised of an experience. Yeah.
So we're going to get into it. That's going to end the free portion of this episode. Kind of short, but patronize us. If you want to hear the rest of this, it's going to be fun to talk about this shit. To do so, you go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. $5 a month gets you all of it. You get this one, you get the next one, you get the ones behind us, the ones in the past. It is a 4D value.
Okay, are going to add that to our ad copy. That's genius, Gary.
Yeah, it's 4D values is what we provide.
High network kind of shit.
Yeah, it's very high network. I was but
go check that stuff out there. There's also like whole bonus shows. In the spirit of the month, we have a show about horror movies. You get all of the episodes of Unfilmable. We're coming up on 80 of those.
Yeah, we think it's a really good value.
Yeah.
So if you can't do that, leave us ratings, reviews. We appreciate that. Join us in thanking our producer, Gwen.
Yeah.
And join us next week for our dispatch.
Yeah. And if you have thoughts about November's games, which are Toonstruck, Balatro, or Diablo 2, which is the premium episode, go to duckfeed.tv/contact and write in by the 15th of November.
Yeah. Deadline is always the 15th. And you're going to want to listen to that dispatch next month because we're announcing our winter RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.